We are privileged to have Emrul Hasan, who is, used to teach for us, used to be with us, of course, has left to go to the Vancouver School of Economics at UBC. But he is kind enough every semester to spend some time with us, his valuable time, to go over the CFA and answer all your questions. He's a CFA Chartered Holder, one of the few that I know, so he knows the ins and outs, as well as he teaches a training, a prep course, and is instrumental with the CFA in Vancouver.
So first of all, some top jobs for econ majors. I actually took it from your econ department link. I have a feeling this came from alumni that you guys have in econ. So if you notice, quite a lot of positions here are either in the financial industry or have the analyst word at the end of it. So let's say securities agent, finance job, then financial analyst right away, researcher, bank manager, financial broker, just showing you some of them. And if you look at this, majority of them have something to do with finance, and finance is a branch of econ, end of the day. My major in econ was also financial economics, right? Otherwise, think about this. My PhD is in finance, but I got hired and teach at VSE, which is Vancouver School of Economics, right? All these positions have one word in common and one function in common, that is analysis. And the best certification that we know around this is CFA, which is Chartered Financial Analyst program by CFA Institute. So if you also look at some sample job listings, like University of Toronto does that, and the jobs that is available those are available in the market are also around those list, the same list here. Again, I will send you the slides, so I won't be really going over this list, the same kind of list. These are some of the data that we have collected from different, what do you call them? Resume writing companies, as well as job finding companies, employment companies and agencies. And US, there's a lot more. I wish we had more in Canada. So these numbers are all in US dollars. Some of them are from UK, where numbers of CFAs are also huge. And also number of CFA related jobs are also instrumental in those places. So these are some of the highest paying jobs for CFA candidates all around the world, but these are excluding the bonuses. Again, I'm just going to send you the slides. There's no point going over this, but the reason of showing you the jobs, the best way of getting ahead of any candidate in this job to get a CFA certification. And later you can ask me these questions, why, but I'm going to probably already go over some of the benefits of CFA in a bit. First reason, I would say, because it's globally recognized qualification. So pretty much anyone who is writing this exam, let's say in China, someone writing from China, someone is writing from India, someone is writing from, let's say, Canada, US, writes the exact same exam. So that's why it's globally highly recognized. And in a lot of countries in the portfolio management sector, you cannot even work if you're not a CFA. So what is CFA? First of all, I want to say it's a graduate level investment credential. It's not a substitute of undergrad. Actually, you have to finish your undergrad before you even write level 2. So level 1, you can write in your 3rd or 4th year, but for level 2, you have to finish your undergrad. That because they want to make sure that you take it as a substitute of a graduate course such as MBA, MSc in finance, etc. I don't have the latest number. Obviously, these numbers are higher now, but there are 178,000 CFAs all around the world, and this is not a big number. Trust me, not a big number. It's recognized by different bodies for licensing requirement, as I said, and 425 universities around the world incorporated CFA into their degree program. SFU and UBC are not there yet, but hopefully they will be very soon. Let's say I come back to SFU later to teach for BD or Econ, I'll probably make that happen. It's very important. If your curriculum is also connected to CFA, while doing the finance courses, you're also preparing yourself for the CFA, and then you can write this without any outside help. So what do these CFA chartered holders do? So they apply their knowledge and skills in a wide range of positions throughout the finance industry. And the positions are these mostly. If you look at the sectors, they work in asset management, private wealth management, commercial banking, investment banking, and insurance. And the area they mostly work on are portfolio management, research, consulting, risk analysis and risk management, and finally, investment strategy. Obviously, there is a full range of other kind of work people do, but these are the typical top jobs of and areas of CFA chartered holders. Again, some numbers. I don't want to go over these. I will send you the slides later. On the median salary of CFA chartered holders who are portfolio managers, these are in USD, and that's the base salary to start with as a portfolio manager. Some of the other benefits other than money, because everyone knows finance has money. So, but nowadays, more money is not the only motivator anymore. So also the work-life balance. Unfortunately, the finance world doesn't have I don't want to lie. Finance world doesn't have a strong work-life balance. Today, I just talked to someone from a private equity firm. I think she called me to know more about the CFA prep course that we teach at SFU. She said, Emrul, like, I already work 11 hours a day. So how can I find 300 hours to prepare for this? Then I told her, you don't need 300 hours, don't worry. So if you know what's important and what's not for the exam, you don't have to read the 5,000 pages, because she was reading from the actual curriculum. So from that example, just an example to show you how much people need to work, because nothing is free in economics, we know that. So if you're willing to earn that kind of money, your work-life balance will be compromised. But again, people are willing to do this. I don't want to lie that you'll also have amazing work-life balance. You want. Designed with your future in mind, strong foundation of investment analysis, portfolio management skill. And what's the reason I'm extremely proud, to be honest, with CFA and being a CFA, their curriculum every year is updated. They have a CBOK, Candidate Body of Knowledge. It's a committee that involves 20, 30 people from all around the world of finance. They come and they say, they recommend what should be in the curriculum, right? So every year, the curriculum is extremely relevant. Just to give you some example, in level 1 and 2, we are now teaching machine learning. We are teaching fintech. We're teaching so many other things that I've never learned as a CFA. I actually had to learn them and to teach. Other variety of career paths, it will definitely boost your resume, because if companies have to choose, first of all, like for co-op, they look at your resume and GPA. For many other jobs, they don't really look at your resume or transcript or GPA, right? So if I have two candidates to choose from, let's say for an investment banking job, so obviously they will give more preference to someone who has level 1 CFA. And there are so many other benefits, like the moment you become a CFA, you can distinguish yourself on higher standard of excellence. Also through CFA societies, like we have CFA Vancouver here. Every big city has a society. You'll have a very broad and strong network. Some other roles are here. So advisory roles, analytical roles, investment decision-making roles, risk and oversight roles. These are, like I showed you 5 before, but here are 50 more roles that CFAs can actually take. Again, I'm going to send you the slides later. Again, talking about the same thing, which is pretty obvious, is strong ethical foundation and global recognition, because each level of CFA are heavily invested on ethics. So how many people have that? I told you 178,000 people in 165 countries. But where are they from? So let's look at some supply demand. You guys are mostly econ majors or alumni, right? So let's look at this, some supply demand issue. 61% of them are Americas, which includes Canada. 21% of them are in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. 18% is in Asia Pacific, that includes Australia and New Zealand. So can you guys use the chat and let me know, why do you think there should be more demand of CFAs now? You can speak up if you want, or you can use the chat to answer that question. Which area? Asia Pacific, Europe, Middle East, and Africa, or Americas? No one? It's probably Asia Pacific. Okay, someone else. Yeah, exactly, Sal. Thank you. It's mostly in that area. And you know what's interesting? We also see more candidates are writing from those areas. Look at this. I know this graph, every time I try to present on this computer, it looks weird. These are not supposed to be black, by the way, I apologize. So this is actually China, that's India, and that's UK. So you can see most of the candidates, actually China is the largest source of CFA candidates. India is the third. So Asia Pacific is also, like, people like understood that demand, and more candidates are also coming from those areas. What also surprised me, I was very, very surprised that Canada, like let's say TSX, right? Toronto Stock Exchange is, I think, ranked 10th or 11th largest stock exchange of the world. So it's not really that big. But look at Canada is actually the 4th largest source of candidates. A lot of people in Canada actually write CFA. Just to break down in numbers too, if you notice, the Asia Pacific now have 54% of the candidate. They have 18% of the CFA who are full CFA, but 54% are from Asia Pacific when it comes to candidates. Just to give you some recent number, 127,000 even after COVID, during COVID. People wrote the exam. In 2021, this is the first time they started computer-based exam. We used to write this on paper. And since then, the passing rate has dropped significantly. So about 30% people actually passes the exam. But if you look at historical last 10-year average, is around 43 to 44%. We can blame so many things. There is a video of mine on YouTube. You can, where I do talk about this, the reasons I think why the numbers of the pass rate is dropping. What we are also proud to say as a CFA Institute member, that right now in the board of CFA Institute, it's a non-profit organization, right? In the board, they have achieved an equity, which is amazing, 50% male and 50% female. And even if you look at the candidates, 37%, hopefully we can increase this further, of the candidates are women. And which is amazing. And they also have some women scholarship and some society scholarship to increase the number further. I'm not going to talk about this further. So I already did content that evolves every year. For example, recently they have added fintech and other things. Okay, more people are coming. That's good. Okay, primary motivation. So CFA does a candidate survey every year. So they ask candidates, why did you write the exam? 33% said because of career advancement and development opportunities. So think about this. These people are already employed. Now they want to move to a different career. 21% said increased competency with advanced investment analysis and portfolio management skill to learn more. 13% to gain some sort of a professional status. Maybe they're already in the industry, but to be part of the community, they went for it. 12%, I don't think that's a good reason to write this. To challenge themselves, it's a difficult exam. Current employment status of the candidate. From the survey, they also found the people who are a candidate, again, listen carefully. Candidate means they already registered for CFA level 1 exam or wrote the level 1 exam and waiting to write level 2, or wrote level 2 and waiting to write level 3. What surprised me, that 23% of them are students. So basically they're in their 3rd or 4th year, which is increasing year by year, 11% more. Maybe, I don't know, it's 2019 survey. I actually don't know why. It's not even COVID for whatever reason. 70% of people who are candidate are already employed in some full-time or part-time capacity. 5% are unemployed. Out of the people, the candidates who are, this is interesting, people who are employed, majority of them, this is also kind of surprising to me, a lot of them are accountant and auditor, which means they probably already have CPA. For example, one of my students, he was in my level 2 class, he had a CPA already, but he wanted to move from the doing financials for people. He wanted to move to the M&A department, mergers and acquisition. But if you want to move to the M&A department, you need a CFA, right? So he's a CFA CPA board, which is an amazing combination. So if I have to hire between a CFA and CFA CPA board, I'll go with the next person with CFA and CPA both. Actually, one of our teachers also has both. Her name is Cheryl. She's an SFU alumni too. She's a CFA and CPA both. Median compensation. If you look at Americas, I think I showed you that before already. It's about $176,000. And anyway, I'll send you the slide later. And the salary is increasing. If you look at Asia Pacific, from 18 to 19, the salary of portfolio manager increased by 57%, maybe because market was booming at that time too. And Americas about 33%, and Europe, Middle East, Africa, 19% increase in salaries. CFA employment by title, most people are actually portfolio managers, then research analyst. I'm here, other, because I'm a teacher right now. By practice, majority works on equities, which is stocks. 19% works in fixed income because some people think it's boring, even though I find it very interesting. I worked in this sector, private equity, before coming to academia. I'm not sure if this link is, to be honest, functional anymore, but click it later when I send you the slide and see, or maybe just Google why hire a CFA chartered holder. I remember on that link, some of the top investment banking managers are explaining why they hire CFA chartered holder. They can probably speak more towards it from a company perspective. I'm telling you from an academic perspective. This is an interesting slide. I found that about a year ago, and I was analyzing it. And then I got very surprised because back in my mind, I was thinking, will CFA people get a job in Canada? Like the CFA has values, who's going to hire them? Then I found this. RBC is actually the second largest employer of CFA in the world. Second largest employer of CFA in the world. Then we also have branches of HSBC, we know. Then we have BlackRock here. We have, I don't know, Morgan Stanley, maybe small, some small fund operations, but look at RBC is the largest in the world. Obviously, TD, CIBC, they also hire CFAs, but these are the top 10 employers of CFA chartered holders in the whole world. This is also another thing I wish I knew when I was a student. So if you become a CFA candidate, let's say you register for CFA exam, you can be an associate member of CFA Vancouver Society. and they have a job board. They have a job board. And let's say there's a private equity firm. That private equity firm doesn't have an HR department. They never do. And they really wanted to hire someone. They don't want to post this job with some job agencies or maybe in monster.com or whatever other job search websites that they have, because they don't have an HR department to actually go over this, right? So what they do, they pay a little bit of money to CFA Vancouver. It goes directly to their job board. So you can actually have very targeted jobs if you become a member, right? But you have to be a CFA candidate first. I wish I knew this before, but I wanted to share this information with you guys. Okay. So next is CFA versus MBA. I took this from the CFA slides, CFA website. So people often ask me, Emrul, should I go for an MBA or should I go for a CFA? So what are the differences between them, right? First of all, I think I'll give you my take in a bit. But first of all, look at this. This is the key areas. Commitment, we know. But the cost, MBA is always very expensive. That doesn't mean you should not do MBA. I will tell you when to do it. CFA is very specific. Rigor is important. For example, CFA have low barrier for entry. That means anyone can write this. But high attrition rate. Attrition means dropout. Like it's people, only few people passes the exam, right? But MBA, because you paid a lot of money. However, there's a high barrier to entry because you need to finish an undergrad. In some MBAs, you also need 2 years of work experience. But you have a low attrition rate, maybe because you paid a lot of money, you won't fail. Eventually, you'll get the degree. So these are the key change differences I saw. Otherwise, MBA can also be on particular subjects, but majority of the topic, because I've taught in MBA programs before, right? So I can tell you this from my experience. In terms of knowledge, it's equivalent to second or third year business undergrad. So you're not going to learn anything new, but you're going to make very strong network. That's how they sell their MBA program. And everything that you're going to learn practically through case studies by going to businesses, talking to CEOs, and etc. However, in terms of knowledge accumulation, if you're already a business major or econ major, you probably don't need that. Now, should we go for CFA plus master's degree, or you should go for just CFA or master's? Just to like broaden it up, like let's not only MBA, but let's include masters in econ, masters in so many other programs. This is my take. You probably should go for both. What's the difference between them? Because most students are taking both to differentiate themselves. So CFA is very simple. The goal is very simple. When you write it, you show a commitment to finance to people. Like in your resume, your LinkedIn says CFA candidate, shows a commitment. But the master degree, right, will focus on broadening your knowledge base. For example, let's say master's in finance. I also teach in the MSc finance program in BD. So I know in different courses, they learn softwares. They're also running a fund called CS Fund. So it's very practical. But CFA is also practical, but it's an exam, right? You're not really learning a software. You're not really working on a fund, but you learn the concepts required to do this. So you got to understand, like, it's not a choice between CFA or a master's. They're very different. They're complements to each other, to use econ language, right? So my take is that complete level 1 while in school, let's say when you're in third year, especially in school, and complete level 2 just after graduation, and go for master's later when you have some sort of an experience. Here, that's what I mean. Many people end up obtaining both CFA and MBA, but after 5 or 10 years of experience. Look, sometimes you can also make your firm pay for it. There's a lot of people I know who did MBA or Masters in Finance or Economics. They made the company pay for it. They probably wrote some kind of a bond that, hey, when you finish your MBA, you have to come back and work 3 years for us, but we'll give you a higher position. These are called professional development fund for companies. Okay. So why would you pay $100,000 from your own pocket to do a good MBA? That slide, I'm not going to go over word by word, but again, I will send you the slide. I'll email you the slide later. And if you're watching the video or anything, just pause it to read. So what's the difference between them? By the way, I have full respect for both of them, but they're very, very different areas. CPA is a black belt in accounting. You want to be a public accountant, you want to work on financial statements or auditor, you should definitely go for CPA. Let's say some people were just asking me the other day, like, I want to explore management consultancy. I also want to explore investment analysis. I said, so what should I do, right? I was confused, to be honest, because to do management consultancies, like working for KPMG, Ernst & Young, and all those firms, CPA is the way to go. On the other hand, if you want to do investment analysis or investment banking, portfolio manager, or M&A, private equity, you should probably do CFA. So I ended up telling the person that, hey, CPA is a course-based. So you're probably already there because that person is a business major, I think finance and accounting major, right? So you've already done 9-10 courses. You're already on the track of CPA. You have to do 2 years of part-time study to complete your PEP. They call this PEP. I don't know what it means. And 3 days of final exam, and then 2.5 years of experience. So you're already on the track of CPA, but CFA is exam-based, not course-based. You have to write 3 exams. Here, only 3 exams. So why not you write level 1, see if you like it, and you're already in the CPA track anyway, so you kind of have both, and then you decide. This is also my take. CPA is course-based, and CFA is mostly self-study, so you don't have to really choose. You can do both. Again, that should not be a choice anyway. Should I go for this or that? Obviously, if you think from, because you guys are econ major, if you think from opportunity cost perspective, that's a different issue. Okay, topics you will learn as a CFA candidate. And I want you to take a mental snapshot of this. There's nothing else that you can run from finance. This is what I sell CFA a lot to people. I'm extremely biased towards it because anything basic to do with any kind of finance will be taught in level 1. I'm not joking, only level 1. I've seen people who are aged, right, 50, 55-year-old, also taking level 1, not to get an investment banking job, it's to learn more, right? One of the person I met several years ago when I was myself a CFA level 2 candidate. So I introduced myself to that guy, like I'm a CFA level 2 candidate. I thought he's, because I met him in a CFA Vancouver seminar, I thought he's a portfolio manager or something. But he said, I'm a CFA level 1 candidate. So I was very, very surprised, right? He said, look, I've made money. So now one of the banks, I don't remember which bank is it. It's managing my money. I want to know what they're doing with my money. This is why I'm doing level 1. So it basically covers everything. I also have a slide later that talks about which courses you could take to cover some of this. Obviously, SFU courses are not going to cover 100% of the CFA, but you could probably cover 30 to 40%. But the root of the CFA charter is ethics. In all 3 levels, you have points for ethics. But level 1 is extremely important and basics because it focuses on knowledge and comprehension and investment tools. Believe me, some people just do level 1 and they're like, I don't want to do anymore. I learned a lot of finance. But if you really want to work in investment bank, private equity, all those firms I showed you, all the jobs I showed you before, you probably have to go more. Because level 2, it's very deep into finance and it's very difficult exam. Level 3 is relatively easier than level 2, which is surprising, right? Level 2 is the hardest exam actually, and level 3 is easier. People always think about cost. CFA is extremely affordable thing, certificate, but it's really tough. So again, there is no trade-off there. So it's okay to, for example, international students. Is there anyone here? I just want to see in the chat. By the way, chat doesn't show up in the video. So in the chat, if you're an international student, how much you pay per course? Just throw me a number in the chat. Again, I don't think the chat is shown in the video. It's not. Just throw a number. How much you paid per course at SFU? As in 1200 as an econ major, sorry, as an international or local student? Yes, I'm international, it's 3 times more. Yeah, it's about 3 times more, I know that, right? So it's about close to 4,000. And CFA is about 700 USD to 1,000 per level. And the whole CFA is about 3,450. Yeah, exactly. 4,000 for 4 credit, right? So in terms of cost is affordable, not a problem. Even if you take the prep course, the one that I also teach here, those are affordable too. Let's say each level is another 1,000. But that's not the problem. Obviously self-study is an option too, right? But the problem is the passing rate. Look at the passing rate. 10-year average pass rate for level 1 is 41%, level 2 45, level 3 53. Okay, but it has dropped significantly. Level 1 pass rate has dropped since CBT. CBT means computer-based test, to 25% in May. That was historically low. We thought it was historically low. We thought it's going to pick up. No, it dropped even more. Then it picked up a little bit, and now the last exam has seen 36%. So you guys are econ major, you have done, I think it's called BWEC 232 or something, a stat course. If you look at them as probability of passing, right? The joint probability of passing all 3 levels in first try, because these are independent event. I'm teaching you quant at the same time. You multiply them, right? So the joint probability of passing all 3 levels in first try is only about 10%. So it's a difficult exam, but it's very, very affordable. Okay. Yeah, it's called Econ 233 now. Okay, good. Since I left, I don't remember. So just to break it down, if you do early registration, you can save a little bit, $300 for each level. Let's say you're writing level 1, right? Even the highest you pay is 1,000 USD, and you pay a one-time enrollment. But if you, on top of this, just add a prep course, prep courses ranges from 900 to 1,600. In general, I think this one, I actually don't know if they increase the cost because they recently partnered with Wiley, which is a big deal. Very, very big deal, because Wiley is the #1 online test prep and finance training is an in-person test prep. So their partnership, I think, I'm not sure if they increase the rate or not. I didn't make the slide. The slide comes from them. So it's probably around 1,100 or something. So it looks like around $2,000 of investment for level 1, level 2, and level 3 for each level. These are the university that are connected to CFA. So you don't have to write GMAT or GRE. This is interesting. Again, something I did not know. I wish I knew this. When I applied for master's program, I actually had to write GMAT, and I did really bad because GMAT, I didn't study hard because I don't study harder on things that I don't learn anything. So if you write your GMAT and GRE exam, those are pretty funny. So I got I remember I got 97 or 98 percentile on the math portion, but I got 40, 42 percentile in the English portion, because of course, English is not my first language. But now they also added analytical, which probably made the exam a little bit easy. by replacing some English like language questions. But what value it's going to add? Nothing. But GMAT works as a filter for graduate school. For example, you know what? Let's not look at applications below 650 GMAT score. However, I will show you in a bit. If you write CFA level 1, if you just pass level 1, you do not have to write GMAT or GRE in many graduate programs around the world in business. Let me give you some examples. Okay, here, Schulich School of Business. Actually, I did my first master's. I have 2 masters, one from SFU and one from York. So I did some courses in Schulich School of Business. Your GMAT, if you do a Master of Finance there, GMAT is waived for level 1 holders. Also waived for full CPS. Like you have to finish the whole CPA to do that. But if you just pass level 1, you don't have to write GMAT. That means what? Try to think about it. GMAT is a numerical thing, right? So they will say, you know what? We're not going to look at application below 650. And if you just pass level 1, you're already there. You're already at 650. So that's how I look at this, because CFA level 1 is just pass or fail. Another example, Queen's, probably to me, the best finance school in Canada. Probably should not say that while it's recorded because I teach at SFU Finance, but anyway. Successful CFA level 1 exam or GMAT. SFU Finance, Masters in Finance. Some of the econ major actually are also there. They're like, when I go and teach, they're like, oh, I know you from my econ course. So MSc Finance at SFU, GMAT will be waived for any candidate who has successfully completed any level of CFA, 1, 2, or 3. Just wanted to give you, and there are other certification courses under CSI, Canadian Security Institute. So many levels are waived if you're CFA chartered holder. Again, I'm going to send you the slide. You can go over them. Let's not waste time on this because I'd rather take questions from you. I'll try to finish in 15 minutes and take questions from you later. Okay. CFA exams, 3 levels. You guys are lucky. During my time, we could write level 1 only twice a year and level 2 and 3 only once a year. So it used to take us at least 3 years to finish it. 3 years to finish it. I'm not joking. But now you can finish this, I counted, in 19 months. Why? Level 1, people can write 4 times. So let's say you wrote in November, right? Let me give you the idea. Let's say you wrote in November and you passed. You can write level 2 in May. There has to be 6-month gap, by the way, between exams. Even if you fail level 1, if you're going to write again, 6-month gap. So then you write level 2 in May and pass. You can write level 3 in February. So from November to February, it's about 13. Why did I say 19 months? It's not. How many months is this? You guys, econ major, do the math for me. I'm tired, end of the day. So how many months is this? So November to next year, December is 11 months. It's 13 months. to 14 months. Exams are shorter now. By the way, that's probably not a good news. During my time, the exam was 6 hours long. And you know, as a student, if the exam is longer, you might hate this, but it's actually easier because you can make more mistakes. But now the exams are shorter, 4.5 hours. So you cannot make a lot of mistakes. Prerequisite, it's very complicated. I want you to Google this, okay? CFA prerequisite is super complicated. For example, if someone studied 2 years, you can also have 2 years of just work experience to write the exam. Someone who studied 3 years, you can also have 1 year of random work experience. It's very, very complicated. I would say if you're in the 3rd year of undergrad, you can write level 1. But that doesn't mean that a 2nd year undergrad cannot, if that person also have about 2,000 hours. They think 1,000 hours is 1 year of work. Hours of work experience, and it can be anything. It can be even family office, your dad's business, your uncle's business, etc. It's very, very complicated now. But I want to say it's ideal time to write CFA is probably your beginning of third year or mid third year. New exam cycle, I just went over this. So what about the level 1 exam in 22 and 23? Computer-based exam made exams a little bit harder, to be honest. I rather write on paper, but it made this more flexible now. Remember I said level 1, we could write only twice. So it was June and December in a center, Vancouver Convention Center, 1,000 people writing at the same time. And the situation was very stressful, I remember. It's so stressful just walking through immigration, right? US immigration as a Muslim, let's put it that way. It's funny because I'm Muslim. It's very tough to get through US immigration, even though I'm Canadian. Anyway, let's not get into that while things are recorded, okay? So it was very stressful, but now you can actually go to a center. It's called Prometrics or Prometrics centers, about 400 locations around the world. And you have an exam window. Look at this. You can choose a window where you can write the exam. I personally would recommend to go for November 2022 exam, even though it might cost you a little bit more, especially if you're in your third year. If you're in second year, wait, write this exam. Format, level 1 are all multiple choices. Level 2, multiple choices, but case studies. Like you have to read a case and then answer some questions. Level 3, 50% case study, kind of multiple choice. And the 50% is writing, essay. And that's another thing that made the exam a little bit easier, I guess, because if you divide 4.5-hour exam into 2 sessions, the first session have 90 multiple choice. You pretty much have 1.5 minutes per question. That's why it's hard. If they give you like 3 minutes, the exam was easier actually. It's actually very time crunch. You have to answer every question in about 90 seconds. This is why when I teach CFA, we focus on that. Like, how can we answer a question that you could answer by yourself in 6 minutes, 7 minutes, but let's do this in 30 to 40 seconds. But what made the exam a little bit easier, I guess, that first only will cover this topic. So these topics will never be repeated again. When I used to write level 1 exam, when I wrote my level 1 exam, the topics could be repeated again. But now, no. You can take a 30-minute optional break. I recommend you take the break. Then new topics for the next part. How many hours you need to study? For self-study, candidates said from the survey, 300 hours for level 1, 328 for level 2, 344 for level 3. Again, remember I was giving the example talking to someone from a PE firm. You probably don't need 300 hours if you know what you're doing. People, what kind of resources they use? 75% uses the curriculum. Then some people use the mock exam. This is very surprising. Why only 67% people uses the mock exam by CFA Institute? Those are the best resource. Anyway, that was surprising. Non-CFA prep material, those are like these companies, about 61%, which is increasing year by year, I guess, because the exam is getting tougher. Most difficult areas for level 1, it's ethics. People find this tough. FRA, which is accounting, and fixed income, that's bonds and other stuff. How do they send you the exam result, which is also something interesting. This determines whether you should rewrite the exams or not. Because sometimes students come to me, hey, Emrul, I wrote once, I failed. Should I write it again? Depends. If you're here, this MPS means minimum passing score. If you're here, you fail by a little bit, then I ask you this question, did you actually study for it? And the student said, yes, I did. I said, you should probably write it again. Student said, I did not. You should definitely write it again because you're very close. But let's say someone is here. Then I ask, did you study for it? He said, yes, I've studied 300-400 hours. I said, you probably should not write it again. Now, if these students say, I actually did not study, I didn't have time, then I tell them you should probably give it another shot. It's not that expensive. If you're closer to 90th percentile or above, you can brag about these too. But don't brag too much. That's against CFA Institute Code of Ethics. What I mean bragging, you can write this on your resume. I passed level 1 in first try. I was in the 92nd percentile. But you cannot write, because of this, I have superior ability versus another CFA candidate. You're not supposed to write this. They also give you itemized result too, right? So you know if I want to rewrite the exam or for the next level, which topic I need to focus more. For example, this person should probably focus more on these areas, quant. Who writes CFA? Most people are in the bachelor degree. 66% people are bachelors. What do you need to do? You have to finish your bachelor degree because CFA is a graduate credential. Write all level of the exams. Then you need 4 years of work experience. It's not after the exam. You can gain this while taking the exam. Careful. One people misunderstood me before. They thought it's after passing level 3. No, over the life. Steps. First of all, enroll for the exam. I'm not even sure the link is working, to be honest, but you can just write CFA registration. They will send you 6 books and they will add you to their learning ecosystem. But if you want to prepare more efficiently, don't want to spend 300 hours, you can register for a prep course and the classes are at SFU. So when Azam said, I don't teach at SFU, I do every Saturday, Sunday. Not every anymore because we have other teachers. Start reading the curriculum or start reading the condensed notes from them and watch some videos maybe. But remember to attend all the prep courses, very, very important. That's how you can reduce the number of hours of a study. Do the mock exams and then go and write the exam. Topic area. Again, I will send you the slide. You can look at this later, but pretty much all these topics are covered in level 1. This is a slide that Azam also helped me to create, but now I can clearly see some of the course numbers changed because someone just told me that BUEC 232 is still called BUS 232 or Econ 233, right? So I apologize if the codes changed, but you can probably still Google them and find out what the current code is called. Like I said, these courses, even if you take all of them, and as an econ major, you probably did not take this. It covers about 40 to 50%. Unless you do 315 with me, which I'm doing right now. I cover a lot of CFA stuffs in my classes. Maybe you can pick up this number to 60 to 65%. But there's still 35% of the topic would be new to you, especially alternatives, then ethics, and maybe a little bit of fixed income. They're not covered in any courses. Strategy for 3rd or 4th year student should be this. I think you should register for November 2022 because you should not waste time, especially in a 3rd or 4th year. Like I said, if you're 2nd year, wait, write the February exam. Deadline is August 9th. Self-study or take the prep course, up to you. Self-study is definitely an option. Write in your resume that you're a CFA candidate. Don't forget that. And also in your LinkedIn. Pass and then keep going like that. Okay. I'm obliged to give you and tell you when the prep courses are happening. So, but you can just go to the website. This website you can see by yourself. There are SFU for both level 1 and 2. I'm not sure if you wrote level 1 already. Weekends classes only. Saturday, Sunday from 9 to 12 for level 1. Level 2 is 2 to 5. Instructors who are all CFA. I'm one of them. There are 2-3 more. Fees. Oh, they haven't changed it. I thought they did because they also included Wiley now, which is worth $895 USD if you buy it from Wiley. But they included that with the prep that includes all the classes too. But what I find personally very appealing, to be honest, from my perspective, I'm not a marketing guy, I can't sell things, is this too. A 350-page hard copy level 1 book with key concept and frequently seen topics. CFA books are about 5,000 pages. So I'm very proud of that book. I condensed this to about, I and some other people together, to about 350 pages. But again, no guarantee that you'll just read and pass, but that's very appealing. This is also very appealing, 24/7 access to all the instructors for CFA or career-related question. For example, let's say you have an interview coming up. You can ask them, can I talk to you for 15, 20 minutes? Our teachers are very nice. They'll probably talk to you. I do still, but this summer, I'm trying to cut it down. I'm extremely stressed. I have a lot of work, but I still never, I don't think I ever said no. Same for the other prof, Chris and Cheryl and Mark. So I don't think they also say no. I think that these are the two more appealing things of like one way you can broaden your network and have someone that supports you throughout your career, not only for passing CFA, but throughout your career. The courses start on May 28th. The schedule is online. Oh, that's a new slide. I've never covered this before. I should have seen this slide before. They partnered with Wiley, which is a big deal for them. They are trying to enhance their in-person prep class with it. But what does Wiley give you? All this. Again, I will send you the slide. You can read that later. Is scheduled for level 1 class at SFU. Just go there and check more. Schedule for level 2 class. Go here and check more. And when you pass level 1, 2, and 3, these are actually virtual badges. You can put this on LinkedIn. LinkedIn now allows you to put badges there, which is amazing. Next step, I'm on time exactly. So figure out what kind of career is right for you. Contact SFU Career Services. I'm not sure if Carmen and Azam are here, but they're amazing help, trust me. I've talked to Azam a lot about this and like pretty much devoted, both of them, to enhance your career. I can tell you, UBC doesn't have it, by the way. I was thinking, should I say that while being recorded? VSC has 3 different programs, right? Honors student, regular econ, and BIE, Bachelor in International Economics. BIE has a career advisor because they pay high tuition, but regular econ and honors don't have a career service, but they have me. I am the student initiative, but I don't get paid for it, right? So they often come to me and talk about this. I do some kind of a career chat every time I teach, where students can come and ask questions, but they don't have dedicated Azam or Carmen there, okay? To know more about CFA, you can check both of these websites. Network with alumni such as me and other people through LinkedIn. It will take you a long way, trust me. Have a very strong LinkedIn profile. Copy, paste your whole resume on LinkedIn. It's really important, and have a professional picture. Register for the November exam. That's my suggestion. If you need help in prep, call, email, whatever.